Hi, 1 Hour Smart Home here, and today we're going to show you how to set up a Muddy Cellular Trail Cam, which will allow you to remotely view photos that are taken when motion is detected on this camera. So it's a cellular battery-powered camera, meaning that no Wi-Fi is required, and then it'll send those images directly to your phone and app so you can view them. So there's a ton of applications for this, but basically you can use this camera anywhere that you get a cellular signal, and it doesn't require a Wi-Fi signal, and it doesn't require any kind of power other than 8 AA batteries. So a ton of applications. The first thing that we need to do to get the Muddy Cellular Trail Cam set up is insert both an SD card as well as the batteries. So we're going to do that now. All you need to do is unlatch it on the side right here, and then you've got your battery pack, which just pops out by pulling, and you're going to need 8 AA batteries, which we've already got. So we're going to insert those. Then you're also going to need to take your SD card, so it's a standard size SD card, and you're going to insert it here on the side of the device. Make sure that you've got it aligned properly, so you want it so that that angled edge is on the downward side of the cam. Insert it, and it should be flush like that, and then you're good to go. So let's insert the batteries now. We've got our batteries inserted, and we're ready to go ahead and throw this battery pack in there. So you can put the battery pack in, and now you're pretty much ready to set this up and get it connected to the app. In order to set up the Muddy Cellular Trail Cam, you're going to need to get the app. Now that we've got the batteries inserted, we are ready to set it up and connect it to the app on our phone, which will allow us to remotely see those photos. You need to download the Command Pro app, which we've got right here, and set up a username and account. Now, here's a shot of the app. It's called Command Pro. You can see that logo there, and this is some of the screenage that is on there. All you need to do is download this and then open it up. You're going to need to set up a username and password, and then you will need to log in. Once you've logged in, you're ready to set up your camera. So we've logged in, we've created a username and password, and now we're ready to set up the Muddy Cellular Cam. In order to do that, you need to make sure that you have your battery pack installed, which ours is, with fresh batteries, and you need to make sure you have your SD card in there. So we've done both of those things. Now we're ready to set up the Muddy Cellular Trail Cam. Now we're going to click on the plus symbol in the upper right-hand corner of the app. So I click on the plus symbol, and then it says add a new camera. It says scan the QR code from the device. So depending on your packaging, there's a couple areas where that QR code could be, but typically the QR code is right underneath the battery pack right here. So I've got tape over it because we don't need to share that information, but you would just scan this QR code right here, which is what we're going to do now. Once you scan the QR code, it will say carrier is activating. Carrier activation may take several minutes. So what we're going to do while we're waiting for that to happen is we're going to take our battery pack, we're going to put it back in the device, and then we're actually going to start up the device. So we've got the battery pack fully loaded with those AA batteries, and now we're ready to press the on button or flip the on switch over right here. So I just flip that over, and then you're going to see a series of lights light up. You've got the battery button right here, and that means that it's got a battery as well as you've got an SD card in there. And then after that goes through, it's going to check and make sure that it has cellular connection. That's what this second little light is here. And then the third one is that the account is connected, or it's connected to the account on your phone here. Now, while we're waiting for that to happen, you want to screw in this antenna because that's going to help you get the best cellular reception. So depending on where you're located, you may be able to use it without the antenna, but that is not the intended use case. So we're going to screw that in and make sure that we've got it so it's nice and tight, and we can position that antenna however we want. And let's see if we've got it in there where we want it now. Okay, that is nice and tight. And then you can see it's moved on to our second light here. So we have connected to our cellular network. So our battery and our SD card are in there, and we do have good cell signal indicated by the second light here. And then our third light's going to come on, which is our account connection light. And once that one's on, that means that it's trying to connect to the Command Pro app. If we get a green light, it means that it's connected to the app. And if we get a red light, it means that it has not yet connected to the app. No worries, because it takes a few minutes for the carrier to activate the cellular chip and the network on the device. So if you get the red light, you can press the sync button, which will force the camera to sync with the cellular network and the app until it connects. So you may need to give it a minute or two and then press the sync button. And then if that doesn't work, wait another minute or two and press the sync button again. And that's because the first time you're activating the camera, it takes a little bit of time for the cellular chip to activate, as well as for that connection to be made with the app. So pressing that sync button will sync it with the app and have it go through that connection process. It may take 5 to 10 minutes in order for that initial activation to work. Now, if that doesn't work, you can turn on and off the camera, which will do the same thing as that sync button will until you get 3 green lights. So press the sync button now. And what that's going to do is go through the process again to make sure that it's synced. So I'm just going to click hide over here, and let's see if our camera has popped up yet. It says Mitigator Camera activation in progress. So it's going to take the carrier a little bit of time in order to activate this camera. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes, sometimes it takes 10 minutes for that cellular signal to go through. So no worries there. But if you get a green light on this last light that goes all the way through, that means that this has connected. And when all the lights go off, that means that you have a successful connection there. So look, we've got all 3, it's blinking, and once that goes all the way through, okay, we had a red light there, so it means it's not connected yet. We're just going to click on continue activation, and this may take up to 15 minutes in order for it to go through. And if you're having issues with it, what I recommend is just turn on and off the camera again, or press that sync button. So in order to get it activated, you may have to wait a few minutes. So we're going to do that now. Just wait, and if we have issues, turn on and off the camera, and or press the sync button, and then that will force it to communicate with the cellular service, with the cellular chip inside of here, to get this activated. Now, whenever I've had an issue activating one of these cameras, it's typically been because of 2 things. One, you need to put clean, fresh batteries in there that have full charge. If the batteries are weak, that can cause issues with that cellular connection, as well as it's not going to work well. The other issue that you can potentially have is if you've got an SD card that already has a lot of stuff on it, it could be full, or it may have a hard time formatting that to make that connection. So make sure that you've got a cleared out SD card that you put in there, and then you're going to be able to make sure that you have a clean connection, as well as an easy setup of the Muddy Cellular Trail Cam. We got another red light, which means the Muddy Mitigator Cellular Cam did not connect. So we're going to cycle it on and off and try and get it to connect. Here, I'm just looking at the status of the app, but it doesn't matter. I'm cycling the camera on and off with the physical button on the camera to get it to go through that connection process one more time. So watch the lights here, and we will get all 3 green, and it will connect. We've got all 3 lights lit up, and they just went off, which means that we have finally made a successful connection to the app. So we're going to click Add to Stealth Cam, and it says device is already activated in Stealth Cam. So check it into your account. We're going to click Got It here, and we're going to click on this. And now we're going to need to subscribe to a plan. So if you click down here at the bottom, it's going to give you some options. You can see up here at the top what that costs. We're just going to go with the lowest cost plan. So we're going to click right here, and then that's 600 photos for $5 a month. What a great deal. We're going to click next, and then you're going to have your billing details that you're going to need to enter here if you haven't done so already. And then you're going to need to click confirm. So you click I agree to the license terms and then click confirm. Your plan was updated. 600 photos, $5 per month. We're going to click finish. It says we recommend formatting the SD card after reactivating the camera service. Let's format it. Click yes. And that's just going to format it so that you've got easy to use photos on there, and it'll do that. And then now you're going to be able to use this camera. So now our camera is activated on here. You can see that we've got it and it is working. It's this device down here. We can go into the settings and we can change what we want there. So it shows us the name. We could change that name. Here you've got your sync time when it last connected to the cellular network, as well as the app. You can choose your upload frequency. I would recommend choosing instant, but you can have it as instant group, hourly, or twice per day. It just depends on how much activity that you've got there. You can also choose the upload time, but I prefer just instant, and then you can play around with that. Here you've got your other settings down here, so you can change your photo resolution. You can choose 4 megapixels, 8 or 24. I find the 8 megapixel is actually pretty good, but you can have higher resolution if you want. You can choose a one photo or multiple photo burst. I recommend using one photo because if you do a burst photo, that's going to use up 3 of your photos of the 600 that you can use per month. So keeping it to one photo, that's going to save you on your data. And then you've got here your delay in the motion sensor. So that's how long it will delay the next photo if there's continuous motion. So you can change this to 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 seconds is what we're going to leave it on to start out, but you can certainly change that. And then if you're having issues with false turn-ons of the motion detection, you can set that to low. So if you've got a lot of leaves in the area or something like that, I recommend setting it to low. But if you've got a nice clear area, you can set it to high, and then you're not going to have any issues. Here you've got a couple other options. You can leave that information bar on or off, and you can see our memory card formatting card is pending, and when that is done, then it will show it is complete. You can choose your time zone as well as your time format. And if you want to save battery, you can change the operating hours. So maybe you only want to monitor something outside of business hours. You can do that, as well as you can set the camera location in a map so that you don't forget this. So we're going to go back here and just look at some of the other photos that this has taken. Right here, we've got another camera set up, and it's just looking at the back of a pole barn to see if anyone is out there. And there is no one out there. I think an owl or something flew by, but pretty cool. And you can see that's just on the 8 megapixels. It gives you the time, as well as it gives you the current temperature, which was 41 degrees. And then you can save this if you want, or you can trash that photo. So let's just wait for that card to go through, and then we're going to test this out and make sure that it works. Okay, so now that memory card has been reformatted, if you're having any issues getting it to reformat, just click that sync button, and that will make the camera communicate over here with the app. So now that we've got that all taken care of, let's test it out. We're just going to set it up right here. It says we've only used 1% of the memory, 99% is left. We've got a good cell phone signal. That's that bar over there. And then we've got full battery. So we're going to trigger this camera, and it is motion activated. So I recommend you trigger it. You can do so just by putting your hand in front of it, and you'll see those lights light up, and that means that it took a picture. Now, it's important to note that as soon as this connects, it's going to start taking pictures. So once you've got it connected to the app, you're going to want to turn it off, or if you take it somewhere in your car and it's moving around, it's going to take a whole bunch of pictures while it's in your car. or while you're placing this. So you want to make sure that you turn it off until you get it to its intended destination, and then you're good to go with this. So if you have any issues, make sure you've got good batteries in here that are fully charged, and make sure that you've got a SD card that doesn't have anything in there. Otherwise, you're going to have to reformat that card. So we're going to see this image pop up here in a minute or two. It takes probably 2 minutes for the images to go through. So we'll see what happens here. And it should pop up right here on the app. There it is. So that took probably about 90 seconds since we triggered the sensor. But overall, this is a very economical way to be able to monitor remote properties where you don't have any kind of Wi-Fi service and you don't have any power. And in my experience, these have been easy to set up, easy to use, and reliable for those applications. So a ton of different applications for this, monitoring remote property. Maybe you've got a boat or a boat dock or a cabin or a farm, or maybe you've just got an area where Wi-Fi doesn't extend to. This is a potentially great option. So then all we're going to do is we're going to turn it off for now for transport, and then you would lock this into place right here, and that's going to keep the elements and weather out. And then they provide you a strap, and you can mount this on a tree, and or you could mount it on a post, or find another mounting solution. They also do offer a little mount here, so you can mount this on like a tripod, and there is a 12-volt input if you want to get a remote battery. Then you don't have to replace these batteries. But the key that I've found to making the batteries last a long time is to make sure that you've got your motion settings set correctly, and you don't have it always taking pictures. If you're going to have a lot of activity, have that delay to like 30 seconds or a minute, and that's going to save your batteries. Or you can have it send photos in batches, and then your batteries are going to last longer. So the batteries and how long they last are all a function of how good the batteries are, what the temperature is, and how good the cellular connection is. But basically, every time you make a cellular connection, you're going to start using batteries. So limiting the amount of times it does that is how you would save batteries. And you can do that by batching photos. So it sends all of them once per day, or once every couple hours, unless you've got something that you want to make sure that you're monitoring and can respond to. Then you can do that instant functionality. And like you saw here, you get a photo on the phone in about 90 seconds, which is pretty good for a completely remote camera. So thanks for watching this video on how to set up a Muddy Mitigator Cell Cam. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.